We're at a point now that nearly 85% of children are being raised in single-parent homes. And a lot of those scenarios, it's the mother who is raising the child. So who then is left without the child? A lot of times it's the father. And it's real tough. It's real tough because he can't be present with that child. It's real tough because, take Christmas, for example, that moment of being able to open up the toys or seeing the child's eyes for the first time. When the relationship changed, the dynamics are different, and now that child has two different holidays, two different seasons, and two different Christmases. What's up, family? And welcome back to the Dr. Geo White Show. Now listen, as you know, this is not your average podcast. Around here, we talk about real life circumstances and conditions, relationships, fatherhood, purpose, all the things that make us laugh, love, and sometimes lose our mind. So grab a glass, pull up a chair. Let's have one of those real conversations. Now, today we're going to talk about what I really consider to be a tough topic, and this is spending the holidays without your children. That's right. We're approaching these holidays, and a lot of non-custodial parents, many are going to be without their children for the very first time. But I'm going to tell you, this is not an easy task. This is, you spend your entire life preparing yourself. Every man has made a personal, private promise to himself to be a better father to his child than what his child was to him. And the relationship that you started out with at the time that child was conceived or born, something happened and the relationship has taken another turn. And as a result, we find ourselves in these situations where now the child is living in a two-parent home. Now, two-parent homes in this day and age is not unusual. We're at a point now that nearly 85% of children are being raised in single-parent homes. And a lot of those scenarios, it's the mother who is raising the child. So who then is left without the child? A lot of times it's the father. And it's real tough. It's real tough because he can't be present with that child. It's real tough because, take Christmas, for example, that moment of being able to open up the toys or seeing the child's eyes for the first time. When the relationship changed, the dynamics are different, and now that child has two different holidays, two different seasons, and two different Christmases. And I'm going to pause because this is not easy. There are a lot of things I find men find themselves going through. First, just really, God, the emotional impact of not being with your child, that challenge of trying to cope with the idea that your child is waking up and you're not there. So I want to tell you, fathers, that those of you who are going through that and dealing with this, to acknowledge the emotion. It's okay to talk about how much it hurts. It's okay, the fact that you're realizing that in this moment you're not going to be present for that history-making moment, but I'm going to tell you to acknowledge it and be honest with yourself. I think that's a big first step, is the emotional coping with it and talking with someone about it. And then I'm going to tell you also to shift the focus. Right? You're not going to be with the child. I don't want you to sacrifice your own holiday because you're not with the child. So I want you to kind of reframe this time as an opportunity for you to do some preparing. And I'm going to talk about some things that, brothers, some of y'all need to do so you won't be dealing with this issue in the future. And I'm going to get to that. But I just want you to shift your focus and focus on yourself and your family and your time. I think that that's important. And the other part, too, is to manage your expectations. I think one of the things that makes spending time without your child for the holidays so difficult is the expectation that you created. You didn't have a good relationship with the custodial parent. The custodial parent didn't have a good relationship with you. It ain't never been right. It hadn't been right since the relationship ended, or it hadn't been right since the divorce has finally come to an end. And so for sometimes the challenge we run into is that you have an expectation that all of a sudden now you two are going to function as healthy co-parents. So I'm going to tell you to manage the expectation and understand that it is what it is. Things are different. The kids are in different worlds, but you can still find new ways to focus on yourself, focus on your family, and be real about the relationship and the position, the condition that you're in. Here comes my second hint, because there is something that you brothers can do about that. And then I'm going to tell you to stay connected. When the holidays come, we're in a time now that there's social media, there's video camera, you can talk via FaceTime, you can do Zoom, you can have these types of communication and contact with your children given their age during that particular period of time. And so I'm going to tell you that if you are at the point where the reality is that you won't be with the child, hopefully the relationship is functional enough that there will be the cooperation on the other end, that the custodial parent will allow for the Zoom or the FaceTime so that you can have that conversation. But brothers, even if you do that, I'm going to let you know that that's still going to hurt. It's going to hurt you to see her smile. It's going to hurt you to see your son say, "Daddy, why are you not here?" Those are realities. And those are some painful realities that you might find yourself having to deal with. But I'm going to tell you, have that call, do that FaceTime, do whatever you need to do so that your child can have that relationship with you during that holiday. This is part of what I call creative communication, right? Send the text messages, send video messages, do everything you can do during the holidays. This is about getting you through the holidays because it's hard. And this is also why I want you to double down with your own family time in that regard. And listen, people can see that you hurt. People understand what you're going through. And so I'm going to encourage you to, talk with someone as you kind of wrestle with that. But also, I want you to plan ahead. I want you to prepare for what you're going to do when you do get the child back, right? So I call this the bonus time, creating an additional holiday or a holiday moment where that when you do get the child, that you all can celebrate and enjoy your child during that particular period of time. We are putting a lot of energy around this particular holiday, but you can create new traditions. You can create new holidays where you're going to be able to spend that fun time. And so these new traditions, these new holidays, again, becomes things that even your child becomes used to. Let me tell you something. Kids like routine. They like to be able to anticipate. They like to be able to expect agreements or plans that are put in place. This is why we tell fathers and we tell parents, always keep the commitments that you make and only make commitments that you can keep. So the tradition, the holiday time, when you're able to talk with your child and say, when daddy gets you or when we're together, this is what we're going to do. And so plan for it, put it in place. But in all of that too, I'm going to challenge you to focus on your self-care. Brothers, this is an emotional time. It can be a depressing time as well. And so I need you to take care of yourself, not in the form of self-medicating. This ain't the time that you go and drink or overdo in the libations and things in that regard. I'm just saying, find your quiet place, your quiet space, so that you can kind of reflect and know that you're okay. The most important thing I need you to understand is that if you're a good dad, be a good dad. If you're going to be a good co-parent, be a good co-parent. It is highly tempting to, during the holidays, for the conflicts between the two parents to escalate. Some of you all are going to find yourself in this situation because leading up to the holiday, there was an agreement. There was an understanding of what you were going to do. Y'all talked about it. The plan was in place. The custodial parent said you can pick the child up. You can have the child for the holiday. But this is what we began to see happen sometimes. The closer we get to the holiday, the plans began to change. So brothers, this is why it becomes so important that you have got to put some things in place to learn how to formalize that relationship. Again, here comes another hint. And we're going to talk about what you need to do to formalize that relationship. But it's okay. Because until that relationship is formalized, meaning, and this is what I'm getting at, you have an actual visitation agreement, until that occurs, then many of you are at the whim of the custodial parent. And just on a quick note, and there are situations where the non-custodial parent is the mother too. But in this regard, because the majority of non-custodial parents in this country are fathers, that's who I'm having this conversation with. I'm going to tell you to work on and continue to focus on the co-parenting, communication with the mother, talking positive. I don't care if the custodial parent agrees to give you a half a day until you have a legal standing to have more. Take what you can get, but continue to work to negotiate that relationship with the custodial parent. So keep the exchanges, the conversations when you all do have that time to be with each other, and work on that exchange with the child. Keep the communication limited to just the visitation, or keep the communication limited to just the arrangements around the pickup and drop off. Now, this is what I need to get at. A couple of things is very important. Number one, I'm going to challenge you all to take the necessary steps that's needed to get a visitation agreement. Now, a lot of men are hesitant about going forward to get that visitation. Here's the reason why. That historically, especially black men, we've historically had an adverse relationship with the court system. Meaning men who go in to seek visitation rights, they go in as plaintiffs and then they come out as defendants, because now the child support is substantially higher and things in that regard. So this is what I'm going to tell you to do, brothers. I'm going to challenge you that regardless of the state you're in, there are opportunities for you to go on and just to see what the amount of child support you would need to pay, or the obligation that you would need to have. Now, I'm telling you right now, this is post holiday celebration, meaning you're going to go through it. And what I'm giving you now is because I need you to have a little hope for what follows. That, okay, I went through this Christmas, or I went through this Thanksgiving, but I'm not going through this again. I'm going to put things in place. The child support piece is absolutely critical, brothers. And I need you to understand this. It's critical because it's a formalized relationship. If you are paying money to the mother right now and it's not part of a civil action, or it's not part of a child support agreement, these are just gifts. But the gifts are important because it's the evidence that you've been supporting the child. So what I'm going to tell you is that I want you to prepare and do what's necessary to seek the visitation rights. But don't make an announcement to the custodial parent that you're going to take her to court and things. No, I'm telling you to shut up and just do what needs to be done. Continue your effort from a co-parenting standpoint to reach agreement to have a good visitation plan. Now, I'm especially talking to those men that do not have a good relationship with a custodial parent. If the relationship is really good and this is not an issue, I'm still going to tell you you need to formalize it for several other reasons. But for the most part, for those men that are struggling with that the visitation access changes with the wind, I'm telling you to position yourself to seek the visitation rights that you need to do. And within that you will determine in that order what the amount of child support you're going to pay. I want you to have your visitation to be just as formal as the child support. Now, when this happens, as we prepare for the next holiday, now that you have an order, the only thing is left in that regard is ensuring that everyone follows it. But I'm going to tell you this, even the visitation order is a guideline. It is actually what's in place in the event that the relationship or the communication goes awry, then the order becomes something to fall back on. This is the hope that I want to give you for those of you who are approaching for the very first time these holidays without your child. Now, as for those of you fathers that are not paying any child support and who are trying to strong arm or take a strong stance, you're making yourself vulnerable. I want you to be involved. I want you to be connected with your child. I want you to have and celebrate every holiday with them. But to do that, there's some things that you got to do. Remember, being a part of your child, being apart from your child for any period of time is difficult, but the holidays does not diminish your love or your role as a parent simply because you're not there for that celebratory moment. So I'm going to tell you to stay grounded. I'm going to tell you to stay connected in the best way that you can with your child. I need you to keep showing up. I need you to stay consistent, and I need you to stay committed within that time. But this is not just about the holidays. I'm going to tell you also to make sure that your routine and your level of involvement is consistent throughout the year. Now, to my custodial parents, here's what I need you to understand. Some of you is going to say that, but my child is not comfortable being away this period of time, or our child doesn't really know him. Well, guess what? I'm going to agree with you. It's quite possible that the child that you two share may not be comfortable with them. You know why? Because the amount of time that father needs has not been given. Anything, like even a new pair of shoes, they become more comfortable the longer you wear them. And so the issue or the argument of discomfort, I'm going to set that aside because you have to be intentional to allow that parenting time to occur. Daddy's not trying to visit. He's trying to be a powerful, impactful person in the child's life and recognizing that you may very well be a gatekeeper. Now, in closing, for both of you parents, I think it's important that you both understand that the child becomes the casualty in the conflict between you two. And the child is not going to understand child support issues. The child's not going to understand visitation issues. The only thing the child knows is that, how come daddy is not with me, or how come daddy can't come over? And that is an argument or discussion that has to occur between the two of you. So until next time, I'm going to tell you, brothers, to take care of yourself and keep it moving. I'm Dr. Gary O. White, and this is my recommendations for dealing with the holidays. So I'm going to give you some specific ways that I need you to work with this holiday. So again, number one, the FaceTime and the video calls. Work with a custodial parent to arrange for the morning time, the afternoon, that you can do the video call with the child, depending on the age of the child, to have that conversation and spend that moment with them. And this becomes really powerful if you can have that video call in the holidays and you're around your family. What's important is that we want your child to know that they've got family on this side as well. And so do the video call. Allow the child to see the aunts and the uncles and everybody, or if your child has cousins, to use that particular time. And don't limit yourself. So in hostile relationships, we'll see situations with the video call. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. No, I need you to focus on trying to increase that amount of video time. Now, I'm going to tell you, this does vary by the age of the child. The younger the child, the less of attention span. So you're not going to get a 30-minute, 20-minute, or 15-minute call with a 4-year-old. Hey, daddy, I'm having fun. Okay, bye, especially on the holidays. But engage. Take what you can get with the child and celebrate. Remember, there is tomorrow. So number one, focus on that video time. Number two, I'm going to tell you, do not isolate. It is very tempting and it's very reasonable to recognize the fact that you can find yourself dealing with a little depression for not being with the child, especially if you're connected in that regard. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to challenge you to double down on your time around your family. I'm going to challenge you to kind of prepare yourself for the what's nextness with your children. So double down on that amount of time with them. Don't isolate, because in that isolation, that's the issue about the self-care that we raise, and you can find yourself dealing with a little depression around the holidays. So double down in the amount of people and the time that you spend. Now, number three, and this really is long ball playing, I want you to also focus on building a relationship with the custodial parent's family. If she's got brothers, if she's got uncles, if she's got her father or other individuals around her, build that relationship with the family as well. And here's the reason why. They become your advocate out of your presence. If she's in a new relationship, build that relationship with whoever that man is in her life. Build it around it. Why? Because they will advocate and push that you will have that amount of consistent access in your child's life. And so that becomes a very critical piece that I want you to also focus on. Next, go and talk with a counselor. You know, a lot of times we see a lot of men are hesitant about going to therapy or communication tune up or therapy tune up or co-parenting tune up, call it whatever you want. But there's some benefits to talking with a professional just around the coping of not being in your child's life and help you deal with that piece. I think in that regard, it also gives you an objective ear to strategize and understand how to cope and deal with it. And of course, with anything, a healthy circle, having the conversation with men who have gone through this as well. Now, I'm going to caution you on this in terms of coping. Do not go and engage in discussions with with men that are disgruntled or hurt, or in that regard. Don't allow yourself to get caught in that piece. Talk to and find co-parents, find men who are doing it, and begin the journey of asking them, what did you do? How did you do it? How long did it take from the time that relationship ended to get to the point? So that becomes my most important one I want to give you, is that the people that you talk to, find those who are doing it the right way, because those who are doing it the wrong way can't be of assistance with you.